welcome to the 10-day growth hacking challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. The growth hacking challenge is we take 10 days, 3 growth hacks to 10x the growth of someone's business. Today, we're here with Richard, and he is growth hacking wellness and personal performance. Today, we're on his last hack, hack number 3. Just to recap, hack number 1 was related to basically accelerating his ability to onboard existing clients using some automation and integration, which has worked very well. And he's already done that with, I think, 4 or 5 clients, and it seems to be accelerating from there. His second hack was essentially creating avatars or personas about the type of not audience, but customers he wants to bring in who are most potent from the experience he's had so that he can further accelerate and bring that to hack number 3, where we are here today. And I'm going to let Richard take the floor and explain to you what has happened with hack 3. If there's anything you want to share in the sense of results from hack 1 or 2, please do that. And anyone who wants to know more about Richard, his information is below. Feel free to reach out to him at any time and go for it. Any updates on hack 1 or 2 before we jump into hack number 3?
Okay, so hack 1 real quick was to systemize my process a little bit better and just update my usage of technology in order to do so, and really automate clients and scheduling and payments for my current clients and my prospective clients. So that one I'm using Calendarly and with a Honeybook integration, which is working great. Like that's, I'm really happy with that. And just, I guess, an update with that, along with just including that in my onboarding process. I'm getting more comfortable with using this automated technology usage. So I had this training software, this coaching software that I had on the back end that I would use sporadically, but then I'm just more comfortable with it now since being integrated with all this. I'm like, hey, let me just find a way to update this stuff and bring it back into the program. So what I'm doing now with my current clients and future clients, and I told you this before, I want to do this online coaching revenue stream as well, get that going. So now I'm just bringing it more to the forefront. I'm like, hey, I know some people can't afford coaching, one-on-one coaching, low barrier entry. I have this program that I'm offering, at a little bit of a discount right now. It's for you to check it out, just so I could play around with it, take action and see who I could help, who I could add value to. So a bunch of people already on board with it. I got one client that's in Florida right now that just through the grapevine, I was just talking to him and I offered it. So that's awesome. So taking action with that's moving along. My second hack was focused on creating more clarity for myself. So creating a target audience. So last week when we did this, I was targeting adults of a specific age, primarily females over the age of 45, and then males around the same age for reasons that I talked about before. But I was thinking about now the online component too. I have a broader range, so I still need to pick specific avatars or clientele that I want to engage with. But it's a lot easier to say, hey, we're gonna go into maybe teenagers or maybe younger adults or whoever wants to get into shape. So those are in terms of just fitness. You could get more bang for your buck, some more action oriented programs, and then do all that, which it's not more exciting or it's not more boring, but it's just different. And so I have a more versatile array of people I could target. So I was thinking about that and trying to kind of scale that and work that into the mix, which I'm happy about. I'm really enjoying. So this is leading me into the third hack for today, which was value creation. So really streamlining my services, my programs, my pitches to these specific target audiences in a way that's scalable and results driven. So this was, I think, the easiest one out of the 3, because all it required me to do was sit down and see what I've done for the last 10 years, and just say, hey, what do I do? What's my main message? What are my values? What's my system? How do I lead clients through it? Because I do it already. So it's how do I lead it? Kind of analyze that and put it down on paper. So then I started just writing it down. I listed things out, 1 through 6. I follow a movement-based methodology for my fitness. So I was like, okay, there's 6 basic movements of the body. I try to keep things super simple for people. And then if people want to dive into the nitty-gritty, anatomy, physiology, all that stuff, then cool. I'm on board, we could do it. Not everybody likes to do that. So just keep things very simple, have people understand that there is a system, there's a method to the madness, and we're going to go through it. This is why we're going to go through it and the reasonings behind it. So in that
Awesome.
regard, I was able to kind of detail it further. And in the life coaching scheme of things, it was a little bit more difficult. That's a newer service that I'm providing for my clients, and it's a bit more it's not tangible, right? Fitness, you have your body, you're able to do it. Anything mindset related and anything like kind of life coaching related, it's a bit more ethereal. It's out there, metaphysical. So,
Sure.
but it was the same process. I was like, okay, how do I do things? How do I make things one, systemize, create a methodology, and two, create a type of understanding? Because I can't tell you, like, I can't say, hey, let's go meditate without one. If you don't even know what meditation is, then you're not going to be with it. Two, if you don't understand the benefits of it, then why would you do it in the first place? Just listen to me for it. So then that's what I was going through, kind of developing the tools, seeing what tools I use consistently, and then getting the reasoning behind that and making that digestible, kind of simplifying it in order for it to resonate with others, and on a like a quick note, So that's what I was doing.
Perfect. Well, I like what I'm hearing. I mean, what the first thing I want to point out to everybody, which you've done very well in this hack, is you built a paper prototype. Probably one of the most underestimated parts of this process. That's kind of funny because in the book, that's exactly what we're doing. Is we're paper prototyping your growth hack in here. And so by paper prototyping your design of your packages is really important, right? You get it on paper and then you start to shift it, and you've successfully shifted it into a system and systemized approach. And I like the fact that you're using a drill down method where you start really simple and then it just gets more complicated. Well, it doesn't get more complicated, you just get into more detail, but you manage that process as you go through it. The other thing which I like you've done is you've separated those services that are more tangible and those are a little bit less tangible because of the systemization. And I would challenge you that on the life coaching part, there is probably a lot more structure and systemization and objectivity to it than you might think. And I would challenge you to look at things like, it could be as simple as people having a rating system. Like, how do you feel that this has had impact on you? How do you feel that this has, reached your goal, whatever it is? And so these like kind of rating 1 to 5 systems, and you can have some objective, like kind of a true or false or kind of things like, I mean, do you feel that this session has had impact for you? Yes or no? Okay, great. I mean, how willingly are you to take the action 1 through 5? And then in the next session you can follow up on some of those questions like, okay, out of our last session, how much of that did you action? So if you can jot it down as like, we had 3 action points at the end of this session. In the next session, how many of those action points were actually taking place? And then what was the impact of those action points? And so it creates some continuity and consistency. And so you've taken something that's subjective and you've given it some objectivity and systemize it. And I have another contender who we're doing the same thing with, actually. He's got like a kind of a more abstract space, or so it seems. What's interesting is he has a background in behavioral science, which I was like, dude, we got to use that.
Mm-hmm.
So that point aside, I mean, I'm glad that you've recognized, I'm glad that you put it together. And those are kind of some of the takeaways of that from my side. And so have you reached a point where you've just designed it, or have you gone any further to look at potentially some of the tools that you may be using for this?
I've designed my methodology, but what I'm hearing when you say that, it's kind of like the more of like tangible accountability aspect of things, which is that's definitely needed and necessary. I feel like I need to update that and just make sure that's concrete too, because that's what's gonna, like, when you're training somebody, you do it and awesome, and it's great. On the other side, the life coaching side of things, usually it's like we talk and then okay, then you're on your own, you got to do this stuff on your own. So making sure that people have that guidance throughout, and okay, accountability and being able to check off, okay, I did 1, 2, 3. That's really important. So that's something that I'm gonna look
Definitely.
into and develop.
And I would also challenge you to see if there's a measurement system that you can use across all of them. So like impact measures or satisfaction measures, or was this helpful or not helpful? Like, you just come up. I mean, what I always suggest to people is the secret to is 3 to 5 measures. Don't go beyond that. 5 is probably pushing it, and 3 is just probably right in the middle, because 1 measure wouldn't be enough. And if you kept it consistent across all the things you do, and you were able to visualize that in a dashboard in the future, or some kind of report, even if you update it manually and provide it to your clients every week, I think it would be really cool, because once you make things more tangible for people, they start to understand your service a lot better. And I would suspect that you would be able to retain your customers a lot longer. And it would probably create a very interesting form of dialogue as well. Knowing when you see if a measure was going up and all of a sudden it goes down, there's the question, why? What happened? I mean, what can we look at? And so it helps you tangibly direct which way to explore or work with your clients. And I haven't seen anybody really do this, by the way, in that kind of space. I mean, I've been to several life coaches myself, and it is usually a bit more abstract. That's very true. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have impact, but I wish there was more measurability. And so some very simple things like that, believe me, it can go a really long way. Just create these reports manually and just do it client by client until you systematically build it up and get feedback. And then eventually you can start to systemize it. You can use things like Google Forms, there's Google Analytics, there's other data reporting tools that just like instantly pumps it out, and you send it to people by email. So it's just not something random and on print. It's something that they've got sitting there that they can reflect on. So it just gives you a way of like continuously developing those packages and creating that consistency that we were talking about, and connecting that consistency with, you remember the scheduling that you were automating in the beginning? It's almost, we're taking like a full circle here, where it's like let's say you've got 10 sessions booked, and so you have like a theme that's just an overall theme for each one of these 10 sessions, that package, and it links back to the reporting, so that at the end of every session, there's something that you need to do. In the beginning of the next session, something else needs to happen. And so it's circular in nature, and it just creates that consistency for your clients. I think it will go a really long way when you close that circle. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's my 8th growth hack.
There you go.
I'm listing them off.
Yeah. So that's good, because I mean, we'll just mention now, of course, I mean, those who finished the program like yourself in 10 days, I do challenge everybody, like in the book, you've got a spot for 20 of them. And we have one contender who's already finished almost the whole book before they've even started, which is quite amazing. So you've done 3 of them in the book right now, but what will happen next is, like, I challenge you to go fill up the rest and finish the remaining 17 growth hacks. And at the end, if you finish that within 16 days, 60 days, sorry, 16 days is a little too short, but 60 days, I have what's called the All-Star program, which is being defined right now, which I'm going to be bringing in people like yourself who are learning growth hacking, applying it, and putting you into even a more supercharged program. So we'll be looking at that in the future. So definitely keep using the book, keep using these techniques, because they'll continuously serve you. And I think one of the main tips that I always give people, and works very well, is the fact that just to work incrementally initially. And incrementally, what it does is when you speed up, you start to actually get real momentum. So you don't need to do these massive leaps. What you need to do is just do these small little micro growth hacks until eventually they add up, and then you'll see this perpetuation effect take place. But yeah, I mean, that's how to do it moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Every time we have these talks, and every time you talk to me, on the side, then you always give me like 1 or 2 things to do, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a hack. So I'll just listing them in the book.
Good. Yeah. Keep listening to them, and then just build them out, and we'll keep in touch. I mean, to further enrich some of them. So that's awesome, man. And I'm glad that you took action. And I think in our next episode, we'll reflect on all this, because I think you have a lot to share, and I like the action that you've been taking. So yes, that introduces us to the next episode and brings us to an end here. If there's anything else you want to share on hack number 3, let us know. Is there anything else you want to share?
On hack number 3, just nothing much. Again, it was more reflective. It was like looking inward on this one. I guess the other 2 actions, it was like out there, okay, systems and getting out there and stuff. So it was nice to have, I guess, a change of pace and just be like, okay, what do I do? What have I done? What do I do well? How can I bring what I do well in a way that others can relate to it and understand it better. So I took a lot of value out of this one.
Awesome. That's awesome. So that's good to know. We've reached the end of growth hack number 3. This is the 10-day growth hacking challenge, where in 10 days, we do 3 growth hacks to 10x the growth of your business. We're here with Richard. You can get more information about him below. Do reach out to him if you have any questions or would like to actually take on his services, of course. Definitely reach out to him. We'll see you in the next episode, where we're going to be reflecting on the full 10 days.
Yep. Take care, guys.
See you.